Hello, my name is Roger Daviston. I'm a personal development coach. I help people grow spiritually. I help people grow in their skill level. I help people change their belief system. I help people see themselves, how they see themselves differently, their identity, so they can get different results. I help them, consider their values and how they can use, how they can work within their value system so they can feel congruent. So really I just help you think differently so you can get better results. In that context, I'm a cognitive specialist. I help you think differently. So I want to talk to you today about strongholds again. If you hadn't seen video 1 on strongholds, go back and watch it because today's part 2 about strongholds. Stand by. What you believe and what you think might be true and it might not be true. But what I want you to understand is that the laws of the universe are set into motion, and God's not going to be mocked. So what you believe is true may or may not be true. And if you believe it, it's going to limit you if it isn't true. Really be careful about, the strongholds that you have in your mind. What's true, what's not true. I'll give you an example in my life some of you might think this is really weird, but stand by, it's really real. But I didn't think it was, and I believe differently, and you may believe this way too, because I was like that. When I began to really consider what I was here for, what I was born to do when I was about 40 years old, I had to go through a lot of breaking down of these strongholds, things that I believed that weren't true, especially spiritually. I had a cousin of mine that was a really powerful, spirit-filled lady, and she prophesied over me. And here's what she said. She said, Roger, you are going to have a deliverance ministry all over the world. And I thought, deliverance? What is that? Not real sure. I think I know. I don't know. Let me start studying about this stuff. So I started studying about deliverance. I started studying spiritual warfare, everything I could about spiritual warfare. And I did not believe that what I was learning was real, and I didn't believe it was true. Well, I had to get delivered from those negative beliefs, those beliefs that weren't right, or what the strongholds. I'll just be honest with you, be transparent. Here's what happened. There were some things that oppressed me that were demonic. That was a growth process for me because there was a plan for my life and I was seeking it, but I had some belief systems that weren't right, and it didn't take me long to get over it because I had to walk through this. Here's what I had to walk through. I got seriously depressed. I started having panic attacks. I would lay in the bed at night, and it's hard to explain, but I'd lay in the bed. I'd go to bed at 9 or 9:30, and I'd wake up at 6, and it was like I'd get up and a Mack truck had run over me. It's just 6 in the morning, 6:30, and I got this whole day ahead of me. And I'd lay there in bed. It was like there was something on me, oppressing me. I didn't have any choices. Like this choice was bad and this choice was bad. I was like in this dilemma all night in my head, and that's not true either. So I began to think, golly, what is wrong? Man, I was sick for about 6 months, really sick, disabled. I couldn't do this job. I couldn't answer the telephone because I had a deadgum panic attack. I even had some weird stuff going on, and I wouldn't even tell my therapist about it because I was afraid they'd put me in the hospital. There were things that I was hearing outside of me that I knew weren't real. Nobody else could hear them, and I could. Song that I couldn't turn off. Schizophrenic spiritual stuff. To be honest with you, I went to a friend of mine who is a deliverance minister. He does this, and I said, I don't know, the medicine's not helping, the therapy's not helping, I'm really sick, I'll do anything to get well. He counseled me, he and his wife counseled me, he's a good friend of mine. He and his wife counseled me. I read some more books, I listened to some more tapes, and I went through some stuff in preparation, and then I went to see him. We went through some deliverance process, and my deliverance was really mild, but he said that I had some death spirits on me and some other things that I went through this deliverance. And listen, some of you people may not believe this. I didn't believe it, but when I was delivered from that death spirit, I immediately slept better. It was gone. And the panic got better, and this, that, and the other got better. But I had to walk through the realness of all that because it was a lesson I had to learn, because I believed stuff that wasn't true, and it would hinder me. So if I didn't change that belief, and if I wasn't willing to go say, well, maybe my beliefs are wrong, I would not gotten delivered and healed. Now, the deliverance happened and the healing took a long time. It was a long time for some things in my mind to get right. It was about 7 years. But I went through that, and if you don't believe what I'm telling you, that's fine. But there have been situations to where I have been on Zoom and helped people with issues that I had. People that work for me, things where they have this timidity. People in the Ukraine team have this timidity, and one person in particular, he had an issue with identity. And I'll just tell you the story. He works for me, and he's Nigerian. He lives in Ukraine. He answers the phone, and he's grown so much. He's grown so much spiritually. He's a medical doctor. He graduated from medical school, and he still works for us because he's got to take his board exam. But here's what happened. He would answer the phone, and he would use his name as John. Hey, this is John. How can I help you? Well, his name is not John. It's not his identity. And I said, look, we need to talk. So we worked through some of those things in a spiritual perspective. I said, listen, you cannot work here and be somebody that God didn't call you to be. You're not John. You're this person. And you're going to have to be this person, or you can't work here. And I want you to be who God called you to be. You are this person. I'm not going to tell you his name. And then there were some other things with timidity that he had to get over. And we went through deliverance with him. And it's a process of spiritual deliverance. And he's excellent at what he does, and he's grown spiritually. He got delivered from some things that were oppressing him. So there you go. You'll have a deliverance ministry all over the world. And here it was 20 years later. But I pushed back and didn't believe it and had to walk through it. So we all have these strongholds in our mind. And this is a very deep subject where I had spiritual strongholds. I got through it, changed my belief system, and then learned how to do some things spiritually to help other people. And this afternoon, we're doing the same thing. I got to do it again with a client because he's got some issues and he knows it. And so, there's lots of places you need to grow. You need to grow spiritually. I say we need to grow spiritually. Sometimes we need to grow at a level of our identity. Sometimes we need to grow at a level of our values. Sometimes we need to grow at the level of our belief system. And sometimes we need to grow at the level of skills. But skills are not enough, because you may be learning a skill that's not supported by spiritual principles, value system, belief systems, identity. You may not be able to do something because you have a different identity. That's what Tawia's problem was. He had an issue of identity. We had to work on some of that. Those are deep things. So if you think that I can help you with some of these issues that you have in your life, reach out to me. Be glad to talk to you. Hey, thank you. I hope this helped you, and God bless.